Yeah, that's right. It's the director of fun, Don here. Nice, lovely morning. Had to stop by the one of my favorite little river spots over here, and just get the peaceful sound of the water. I think we each find something that works for us, right? So, how many of you have either ever used a coach or had a problem with a coach or thought it wasn't worth getting a coach? Because all three of those apply. So in my life, I've had a few coaches that I've had a lot of respect for, even hired some here and there. And then this is my personal opinion, I ran into a lot of people who probably should not be using that word because they're not really qualified. I get it, they're trying to start off and be at it. They don't have the background yet, they don't have the skill set to really be a great coach. But every now and then, you run into a coach who he's just it. She's just it. They just have what it takes, and they've got the experience in the background. Well, I ran into one of those coaches, and we did a live yesterday on Facebook, and I've put it on here on Facebook, and it's about sales techniques and trainings. And I got to tell you, I don't impress overly easy with a lot of folks, but with Coach Ivan, I'm impressed. I think you're going to enjoy it. Hey, I apologize, it's a little longer than normal, but if you're smart, you'll take notes and you'll probably watch it more than once, because I know I'll be watching it more than once. Well, let's get to it, shall we? Well, I'll kind of repeat this real quick while we're getting everybody on. Apologize for the delay. I got stuck behind an accident. Sedan decided to try to outpower or run into or push off the road, I guess, a cement truck. And cement trucks are way bigger, so it didn't work out too well. But it sure did hold us up for a bit. All right, so there's Coach. Hey, Coach Ivan, how we doing? Let me see if you hit the request. There we are, adding you in. So while we got that part going, let me bring this part up. Can you hear me, Coach? Johnny, how we doing? How we doing? There you are. I think I heard some squeaks. Can I hear you? One of us. There we go. I've got a pretty good signal.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you, sir. How we doing?
Okay, perfect. Doing great. How about yourself?
Well, all things considered, what I was just trying to get through, I was just kind of letting everybody know that's coming on there. Hey, Johnny, how we doing? That I had this big wreck, and I don't care how good you are, how smart you are, sedans do not outpower cement or concrete trucks.
Never a good idea.
It's just not going to happen. So I'm going to give a few minutes for folks to come on. Hey, Willie, how we doing? Be very appreciative if you guys shared this. This is going to be information that is value across the board. It does not matter which kind of industry you're in. If you're involved in some aspect of sales, you're going to love this. So whether you're network marketing, affiliate marketing, whether you're a traditional brick and mortar business with sales, I'm thinking there might be a recruiter coming on here for the National Guard. Sales is sales. Something I learned a long time ago. So while we're getting started, we got a few people coming in. I want to just give a quick story, and then I'm going to introduce our guest and kind of turn it over to him. In 1994, and yes, that dates me, I had just been out of the military for about 2 years after serving 10 years in the Army. I was one of those crazy guys. I was an airborne combat engineer, so I jumped out of airplanes and blew stuff up. But I didn't have to worry about leftover parts. Anyway, I had been in sales, and I found in this financial services company that they had an opening in Utah for a sales manager. So on Friday, I packed up my family. On Saturday, we drove to Utah. Sunday, I showed up at my sister's house. Monday morning, I walked in at 9 o'clock and said, I'm here to assume the sales manager's position. And at 10 o'clock, I had the job. Now, I never put in an application. I didn't do anything. So Utah, with that particular company, had never made sales records at all, ever. With training that I did with my people and by bringing in specialists like we're going to do tonight, we taught and retrained our sales staff that we made it in the top 10% of the company that very next year out of 3 countries, something that had never been done. So we had a lot of fun. We saw a lot of records. We got a lot of awards. More importantly, and I'll show you these stories later, I watched a couple of my agents change their lives financially, going from struggling to having nice cars. One of them who had, and I'm going to use the word loosely, a husband who was wasting oxygen, to she got on her feet and she was out there and she really made something out of herself. And that is a reward that's above all. Hi, Stephanie. How we doing? So, folks, tonight, I don't want to take up a lot of time. We're looking to be on here maybe 20, 25 minutes, give or take some questions there at the end. I asked a special guest that was introduced to me by one of our team members to come back in and share some information because I don't impress easily, but that night I was impressed. And if I get impressed, I need to spend time sharing it with others. Folks, let me introduce to you Coach Ivan Alvarez, and I'm going to read this because it's important. I want you to know his credibility. Ivan Alvarez was born in Honduras and he migrated to the United States in 1975. He served in the U.S. Air Force for 10 years and started his entrepreneurship during his military days. Ivan was a systems engineer by trade and now works full-time building his coaching practice and contracting out to work events for influencers like Ray Higdon, Christian Mickelson, Jeff Walker, Elite Marketing Pro, and other major companies. Pay attention, guys. Ivan has been doing network marketing since 1988 and has built a few hundred teams. He understands people and their different personalities, and for 2 years studied people through Jerry Clark's The Magic of Colors, the red, blue, yellow, and green. Ivan is also an accountability coach and instructor for My Lead Systems Pro, teaching entrepreneurs on how to grow their business efficiently and effectively. He coaches up to 30 new students each and every week. Ivan has also coached over 6,000 students, and over the last 12 years has been known in the industry as one of the well-versed mindset coaches. Ivan has been married for 23 years to his soulmate, Mary. He has 2 daughters, Courtney, who's 27 years old, and Brittany, who's 22. In his spare time, and I don't see that he has much of it with all this going on, he teaches Latin dancing, and for the past 6 years has participated in the Abilene, Texas Dancing with the Stars. Ivan is also fluent in Spanish and coaches and teaches in both English and Spanish. Thank you, Ivan, for joining us tonight. I hope I got all that correct.
You did. Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
Well, like I said, I'm not one that impresses easily. A lot of people, I think, are not quite ready to be in the position that they're claiming to be in. You have earned it. And I felt this was a valuable information to be able to get out to a lot of people in a lot of industries. Again, whether you're in multi-level or network marketing, affiliate marketing, recruiter, insurance, real estate, doesn't matter. What you were going through, I found to be beneficial, having personally worked in all those fields. So I would like to turn the time over to Coach Ivan. I've decided, a lot of you know that I usually do this in an interview fashion, but he's got a program, and I'm going to let him run. Ivan, thank you for being with us, and it is all yours, sir.
Thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate it. It's amazing to me how many people still have a fear when it comes to sales. And the reality of it is we've been selling since we were toddlers. We just seem to forget that. And even now, whenever you're going through day-to-day living, you're actually selling to somebody all the time, or you're being sold. So it's a part of our lives. And as a result, we need to get comfortable with it, especially entrepreneurs. So today, what I want to do is I want to discuss with you guys just 5 simple questions that you can utilize to get all the answers you will ever need to be able to close anybody on just about anything. And the reality of it is that simple. 5 questions, that's all you need. Now, before I go through those questions, there's a few things I want to make sure that you understand. The very first thing is, anytime you're talking with someone, the first thing you've got to do is have posture. Your posture has to be in place, and it has to be better than theirs. A lot of people, for whatever reason, they get into this nice mode, and the reality of it is you're not trying to make a friend, you're trying to help someone change their lives and change their business. So you've got to conduct yourself as a professional. Second thing that you have to do, and for whatever reason this skill seems to be fading as time goes on, you have to learn to become an active listener. You don't just listen for a point where you can basically say your piece. You got to listen to what people are saying. Take copious notes. The reason why is almost anyone that you're speaking to, especially when you're going through these questions, they're actually going to tell you why they need your product, service, or opportunity by the answers that they give you. But if you're not actively listening, you're going to miss out on that. And the third thing I want to make sure that you guys understand is, and this is a part of the posture, but I want to separate it out. This excitement that I see people go through whenever they're trying to sell does not work. And I'm going to give you a real quick demo of that, and tell me that this is not creepy when I do it. Oh my God, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited about having you here. Is that really genuine? No, it's creepy.
Yeah.
And you know, just remember, guys, you want to be professionals. You really, really do. And for me, what has changed, transformed not only my life, but the lives of the people that I've had the opportunity to coach, to be able to, teach, and so on and so forth, is them understanding that their value and their worth changes lives. I'm going to say that one more time. Their value, their worth, your value, your worth changes lives. Your success is a lot bigger than you. Too many times people get caught up in, oh my God, I want to make all this money, I want to have all this freedom. Okay, that's all great and dandy. The reality of it is, if you remember why you're doing this, if you remember that you jumped into this industry because you wanted to change lives, you wanted to make a difference, and you wanted to leave a legacy, that's the reason that we're doing this. And as a result of that, and I'm going to stress this extremely, extremely high for you guys, do not let people off the hook. Do not let people off the hook. Don, I'm gonna have you role play with me so that they understand how these questions work. But let me read the questions out for you first. So for those of you taking notes, here are the 5 questions. They are all psychological questions. Question number 1: how long have you had this problem? How long have you had this problem? Please write these down. Question number 2: what have you done to fix this problem? What have you done to fix this problem? Question number 3: what were the results? What were the results? Question number 4, this is a big one. Who else is being affected by this problem? Who else is being affected by this problem? And then the 5th question: if something doesn't change in the next 12 months, what is the long-term effect on you and those affected? If something doesn't change in the next 12 months, what is the long-term effect on you and those affected? So when I teach this, I want to make sure that I set it up for you so that you understand how you're going to transition someone either from social media or from maybe an introduction into a conversation with these questions. For the sake of this example, I'm going to use social media as the platform that you're using to gain your leads. And this is how you do this. So let's say that we were on Facebook and I did a Facebook Live like we're doing now. And in the Facebook Live, I talked about how to stop living from paycheck to paycheck. And after I gave an example of how just debilitating and how life-changing for the wrong reasons living from paycheck to paycheck is, I tell people, if you're sick and tired of doing that and you don't want to go through this anymore, give me a 5 in the comment section so that I know you're tired of this and you're not going to let it rule your life just one more day. So when people type in whatever it is that you're telling them to do, the number 5, now you know all of those people are raising their hands. They're literally telling you, hey, I need your help and I really want to talk to someone like you. So what do? All the people that give you the 5, reach out to them through private message, and you simply do this. George, I noticed that you typed in 5. I'm assuming you want to quit living paycheck to paycheck. Is that correct? Yes, great. I've got these 2 days and times available. Which of these work best for you? I've got Friday at 2 p.m. and I've got Monday at 7 p.m. Oh, well, Friday at 2 p.m. That's going to work for me. Great. I need to get your full name. Check this out, guys. This is how you fill up your CRMs. I need to get your full name, your email address, and a phone number so I can send you an invite for our meeting. Okay, that's all the information you need for your CRM. So why not ask for it up front? And if they ask you, why do you need that? Well, how am I going to communicate with you? How are you going to know to show up on time tomorrow, considering you got a busy schedule? Oh, you're right. I do need one. Great. So give me that information. I'll send you the invite and we'll talk at 2 o'clock. That is the setup, guys. That's how you get someone on a call, on a conversation through a call. Now, I know some of you are thinking this, so I'm gonna touch on this right now. What happens, Coach Ivan, if they tell me, well, can you just give me the information right now? Well, no, that's why I'm setting up a call with you. I'm extremely busy. I've got a lot of people on my calendar. And because I've got like 2 minutes, all I'm doing is going through the people that commented right now, and I'm scheduling all of you on my call. So if you want the information, we're going to have a conversation on one of those days that I just gave you. Remember, you are a professional. Act like it. Do not come from a place of desperation. If they are not willing to get on a call with you, do they really deserve to work with you? My answer is no. No. And your time is valuable. You need to treat it as such. Okay? So that is the platform. So for the purposes of this role play, Don was the one that was actually on my Facebook page. He saw the Facebook Live, and now Don and I are going to have a conversation where I can ask him these 5 questions. So please pay attention. There's a lot of details that are going to be happening that you need to watch, because this is what's going to make you a better closer. So you ready? Ready, Don?
I'm ready.
Great. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Don?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Don, this is Ivan. You were on my Facebook page yesterday. You watched the Facebook Live on how to stop living from paycheck to paycheck, and we scheduled this call. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Great, great. Well, Don, I want to be very respectful of your time. So I just want to ask you 5 quick questions. Based on your answers, I'm going to have a solution or 2 that I think is going to be a good fit. And then you can decide whether it's a good fit for you or not. Fair enough?
Yeah, that's fair.
Awesome. Don, how long have you been living paycheck to paycheck?
Really? About 7 years.
7 years. Wow, that's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah. Very.
Don, second question for you. What have you done in those 7 years to fix that problem?
Honestly, I didn't do anything until about a year ago. And then
Okay.
I tried to start getting set up with some, online business uh, scenarios.
Okay. And what were the results of that? Did any of that work to the degree that you expected?
No, not to the degree I expected at all. It I'm kind of had to restart. It didn't pan out for what I thought it would do.
Understood. Understood. Question number 4, Don. Who else is being affected by you living paycheck to paycheck?
Well, my wife, and my daughter, but in some respects, I'm a grandpa, so I don't get as much time with my grandkids either. So there's a number
Got
of
it.
people.
So pause role play, guys. This is important. This is where you dig deeper. This is where you show interest. This is where you ask the questions. Oh, so you're married. How long have you been married? What is your wife's name? How many kids do you have? How many grandchildren? Why do you think that's so important? It's because you're trying to establish know, like, and trust in a very short amount of time. And one of the most important topics for the person you're talking to does not matter what color they are. The most important thing for most people is their family. So when they talk about their family, probe. Here are the 3 most powerful words that you can say to get people to talk more to you, because some of you will come into this and you're going to run across what I call the green personalities, the analytical people. They give you just one word answer and that's it. But here are the 3 words to get more information from those people. Tell me more. That's it. Oh, tell me more. Tell me more about that. Okay, but for the purposes of time, I'm not going to dig deeper with Don, but I want to make sure you guys know this is where you're going to dig deep. So back to the role play. So Don, it sounds to me like it's not just affecting you, it's affecting your wife, it's affecting your kids and your grandkids as well. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Got it. Question number 5. Don, if something doesn't change in the next 12 months when it comes to this living paycheck to paycheck, what is the long-term effect on you, your wife, your kids, and your grandkids?
The long-term effect,
Mm-hmm.
nothing's going to change. We're still going to be struggling.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Can I ask you a question, Don?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it possible that it could get worse?
Well, yeah, anything changes in the economy, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. If you get hurt, if you can't work, any of that can happen to anybody at any given point in time. Would you say that that's a pretty safe assessment?
Having been through it, yes.
Yeah. So we don't want to be in that spot a year from now, do we?
No, that's what I'm trying to find a
Got it.
way out.
Got it. One last question for you, Don. I'm just curious, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you're not going to do anything to fix this problem, and 10 being it stops today, no more. Where are you?
Right now, I'm at a 10.
You're at a 10. Great. Pause role play. Guys, for me, if someone gives me a 7 or below, this is how I'm going to do it. So give me the same. I'm going to ask the same question and give me the answer that you're a 6. So here we
Okay.
go. So on a scale of 1 to 10, Don, 1 being you're not going to do anything, 10 being it stops today. Where are you?
Yeah, well, realistically, I'm probably about a 6.
A 6. Why so low?
Well, I want to get some stuff done, but I'm limited on hours and availability, and then a lot of these people want to charge all kinds of money just to be able to get started. So I don't know, just I got to be able to fit it in and afford it.
Okay, got it. So pause role play. So here's where we begin to use the answers that Don gave when I asked the 5 questions. Back to role play. So Don, help me understand. You did say that you had been going through this for the last 6 years. Was that correct?
Yeah,
You did also
definitely.
say that you've tried a few ventures, and unfortunately, none of them have worked to the degree that you expected. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then you also said it's also affecting your family. Would that not give you enough motivation to really want to do something about this so that you guys don't continue going through the exact same thing for another 6 years?
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, but when you told me you were a 6, that's a pretty low number. I would have thought you would have been more motivated. And I just want to be very open and honest with you. I really want to work with people that are motivated to get rid of this problem. And not everyone is.
Yeah, I get that. Well, I definitely got to get rid of the problem. I just don't know what to do.
Got it. So you're probably a little bit higher than a 6, aren't you?
Yeah, maybe a 7 or an 8. I mean, I've got the drive. I just don't know where to put it.
Got it. Got it. Pause role play. So not everyone that you talk to is a great candidate right off the bat. And you have to be intelligent when you're talking to people, guys. You need to be categorizing people. Is this a good prospect or is this not so good prospect? And a lot of people think when I say that, well, the not so good prospects, we're just going to do away with those. No, not necessarily. The timing may not just be right for them. And you need to be okay with that, right? You need to work with the people that are ready to do something now. And those that are not, give them an option where they can continue to watch you. They can continue to learn from you. Because you never know when you're going to touch that button that's going to finally motivate them to say, you know what, enough is enough. I've got to do something about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Perfect. So let's go back to the role play. So Don, I want to thank you first and foremost for answering those questions. I know it is not easy to open up to a perfect stranger, and I just want to acknowledge you and say thank you so much for being so honest with me, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Great. So based on your answers, Don, here is what I'm going to recommend, and I think is going to be a perfect solution for you. I work with company XYZ, and what we are is da-da-da-da-da. So right here, this is where you're going to present your opportunity, your product, your service, whatever it is that you're going to be providing, this is where you present that. Now, here is where a lot of people make mistakes, and I'm going to hopefully clear some of you guys of this. You never ever present your solution without ever referring back to something they said to you in the answers to those questions. This is what it would sound like. So Don, what we're going to do is, I work for a company called XYZ, and what we do is we teach people just like you how to make an additional $1,000, $1,500 in the first 90 days so that you don't go another 6 years living paycheck to paycheck. Does that sound kind of like what you're looking for?
Well, yeah.
The other thing we're going to do, Don, is we're going to actually show you how to do that in such a way that you don't have to work 40 hours a week. We're going to cut that in half so that you can spend a lot more quality time with your wife, with your kids, and with your grandkids. Isn't that what you said you wanted to do?
Well, it is what I want. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that when you do this, that you have the greatest shot of not getting yourself back into this situation a year, 2 years, 5 years from now. Because we're going to teach you not only how to make the money, but how to keep the money. How important is that to you?
That's just as important, if not more, than making it. What's the sense of making it if I lose it?
Absolutely. So Don, that's what I have to offer. Does this sound like what you're exactly looking for so that you can get out of this living paycheck to paycheck?
I think it does. It's the best I've heard. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So pause role play. Notice how I'm touching on all of Don's buttons based on the answers he gave. Don does not want to hear, I work for company XYZ. It's a 17-year-old company. We've got the best products this side of the Mason-Dixon line. We've got 18 scientists that come from 3 different plants. People don't care about that.
Right.
Why? Because it does not make sense to them with the problems that they're currently going through. You have to learn how to marry the two, where it makes sense to them as to why they need to say yes to you, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Okay? So let's go for the close. So Don, to get started with this, it's going to be $500. Are you ready to get started? Say no.
I don't have $500. Not right now. No.
Oh, Don, I am so sorry. I must have written something down incorrectly. Is it okay if I summarize all of the answers that you just gave me, just to make sure I wrote it down correctly?
Okay.
So, Don, did you say that you have been living from paycheck to paycheck for 6 years?
I did.
Did you also say that you've already tried in the last year to fix the problem, and everything you've tried, nothing has worked to the degree that you anticipated? Was that correct?
Yeah.
Did you also say that it's not just affecting you, but it's affecting your wife, it's affecting your kids, and it's especially affecting your ability to spend quality time with your grandkids?
Yeah, definitely.
And lastly, did you say that if something doesn't change in the next 12 months, the long-term effect of this is a year from now, you're going to be struggling. You're going to be in the exact same spot. And you also agreed that it's possible that it could get worse. Was that accurate?
That was accurate.
So Don, are you telling me it's not worth $500 to get rid of all of those problems so that you never have to live like that again? Pause role play. Whose words did I just use?
You used my own words right
Yeah.
against me.
Does that sound like I'm trying to convince you, or does that sound like I was paying attention?
Took you completely out of it.
Because it's not about you guys. It's about them. It's about them. So back to role play. So actually, let's pause role play for a second. I wanna cover one other piece to this, because I know a lot of you are gonna run into this regardless of the industry that you're in. You're going to have objections. And this is where a lot of people freak out. You don't have to freak out when you have objections. The reason people are throwing objections to you is for one or two reasons. Number one, it's either they're not comfortable and they're doing what they've always done, coming up with excuses. It's like when you go to the store and you know you need to get a blue blazer and you need it to be 44 regular, and you pretty much know where it is in the store. And as soon as you walk in the door, they ask you, may I help you? And what is your answer? No, I'm just looking. And that's a bold-faced lie. So that's the first reason. The second reason is they just don't have enough information. They just don't have enough information. And sometimes you've got to make sure that you get past that by dealing with their objections. So here are the 4 most common objections that you're going to hear, because I still hear them to this day. Number 1, I don't have the money. Number 2, I don't have the time. Number 3, I've got to speak to my spouse or significant other. And number 4, I need to, how can you guarantee this is going to work for me? So those are the ones that I'm going to go through with Don, so that you guys have this in a recording through this Facebook Live. So the first one, Don, I want you to give me is going to be the one that you just gave me. You don't have the money. So here we go. So Don, it's going to cost $500 to get started. You ready?
I don't have that kind of money.
Oh, I'm sorry, Don. You don't have the money.
No, sir.
How often is this coming up where you don't have the money to buy the things that are important to you, or the things that you need to buy?
More often than I'd like to admit.
Yeah. Aren't you getting tired of that?
Well, definitely.
Shouldn't we do something about it?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. You care a lot about your family, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Don, if your family needed $500 right now, could you become resourceful and come up with that money for your family?
Somewhere. Somehow, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't this just as important? Getting out of debt, not having to live it like this another 6 years, spending quality time with those that you love, and not have to worry that a year from now you're going to be in the same spot, if not worse. Isn't this worthy of you becoming resourceful and coming up with that money?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so when should we follow up again? I want to make sure that I give you a few days to be able to come up with that. When would be a good time for us to follow up?
Can you give me 3 days?
3 days, absolutely. So that'll be da-da-da-da-da. When would be a good time for me to call you in 3 days, Don?
About the same time we're talking now.
Okay, great. Now, Don, before we hang up, I've got a really, really important question to ask you. Don, are you a man of your word?
I am.
When I call you back in 3 days at this time, you're not going to ignore me or blow me off by not answering the phone, are you?
No, sir.
I'm sorry, what was that?
No, sir.
Pause role play. I heard him loud and clear the first time. The first answer was for me. The second one was for himself. I just planted something in Don's subconscious mind on purpose. So when that phone rings, even if Don had every intention of blowing me off, what do you think is going to happen?
We'll pick it up.
He's going to think back, crap, I told him and I promised him that I would pick up the call. And what is the one thing that we are all always so overly concerned about? What other people think. So he's going to answer that call because he doesn't want me to think of him as a guy that doesn't honor his word. Make sense?
Yep.
Perfect. So let's go to the next one. You don't have the time. So Don, that'll be $500. Are you ready to get started?
Well, I don't know that I have time to take on something like this.
I'm sorry, Don, you don't have the time. Help me understand what's more important than getting out of debt, not having to live like this another 6 years, making sure that you're spending quality time with those people that you care, because you and I both know time is our most valuable asset, and then not being in the situation a year from now where you're regretting that you didn't do something about it. What's more important than that?
Well, nothing, but nothing.
Okay, so pause role play. Let's say that Don is insistent that he does not have the time. So go ahead and insist,
Yeah.
and I'm going to give you the second part of this.
Well, I get that that's important, but I've got long hours of work and stuff to do. I don't know that I've got time.
You know, Don, I can appreciate that what you're saying. Let me ask you this question, Don. Living how you're living right now, how's that working out for you and your family?
Well, not very well.
Okay, and what is the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
So help me understand, if you continue to do what you're doing, how can you possibly expect a better result from this?
Well, when you put it
Pause
that
role
way, I
play.
can't.
Yeah, so guys, here's what I'm doing. Some of you, and I got to address this, Don, because this almost always happens. Some of you are thinking, man, this guy Ivan, he's pretty hard, man. He is not just, I mean, he's really just trying to get the sale. No, I'm not. Guys, if you truly care about the people that you're working with, that you're bringing into your business, if you truly care about them, you will not let them off the hook. Because if you do, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, they're going to be in the same spot, if not worse. And unfortunately, you will have played a part in that. I want to have a clear conscience knowing that every person I talk to, I did everything within my God-given power to ensure that I did not let them off the hook. After all that is said and done, if they still don't want to do it, I'm okay with that. Because I can look at my maker and say, you know what? I did the best I could. So for those of you that are thinking I'm being way too hard and I should have just backed off, no, I care enough about Don that I want to see him get out of living from paycheck to paycheck. And the only way that I can ensure that he is not going to back down into the shadows is to confront him. And the things that he's already said to me, if they're important enough to him, he'll get past these issues that he's allowed to stop him from moving in the direction that he needs to for him and his family. So I hope you guys get that.
There's one other
Don,
thing
you
I
want to say
might add
something?
too. Yeah, from the other perspective is, and especially in our industry, don't waste people's money. And what I mean by that is don't get them just enough to sign up without being committed so that they walk away 2 or 3 months down the road. It's number one, it's not good for your retention rate, but more importantly than you and your retention rate or the commission you made, you just helped somebody throw away whatever it cost to join a program because they weren't committed enough to stay. And that's something we need to fight as an industry. I don't care what your service or product is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for pointing that out. That's extremely important. So that's how you deal with the time issue. So let's go to the I need to speak to my spouse or significant other. So Don, that'll be $500. You ready to get started?
Well, I think so, but I need to check with my wife, make sure, where we're at and if she's kosher. Make sure. Yeah, I've got
Oh,
to
okay.
talk to her.
Got it. And I'm assuming that's just because you guys have mutual respect for one another and want to be on the same page, correct?
Yeah.
Great, great. I do the same thing, Don. That's why I've been married almost 24 years.
Oh,
So
awesome.
let me ask you these two questions, Don. If your wife is a yes, are you a yes?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. What if your wife is a no? Are you automatically a no?
No, I'm not automatically a no, but I got to figure out how to change your mind.
Okay. Pause role play. Those two questions, guys, is critically important, not for anyone else but you. You need to know if you're talking to the decision maker or you need to have the spouse or significant other on the phone so that you can close the deal with both of them. That's the only way you're going to know is by asking those two questions. So back to the role play. So Don, I'm assuming you're going to be speaking to your spouse maybe around dinner time tonight. Would that be accurate?
I hope so.
Okay. I would love to follow up with you right after dinner. What's a good time for me to call you back?
Oh, about 7.
7. Great. So pause role play. Before you get out off the call, you want to do exactly what I did earlier. So 7 o'clock, when I call you, are you a man of your word? If when I call you at 7 o'clock, you're not going to ignore me, blow me off. Do that again on that one so that you can ensure they're going to pick up the phone. In this way, you're going to have both parties on there. If they're telling you, well, today's not good, can we talk tomorrow or next week? Well, here's what you do. So let's use that one. Is that all right, Don? Let's go ahead and
Yep.
go there. So tell me we need to talk next week. So can we go ahead and talk right after you guys are done with dinner?
I'm going to need some time to get it through and talk with her. Can we check back, let's say, beginning of next week?
Help me understand, Don, what's going to change between now and next week? Other than you continuing to struggle, continuing to not spend quality time with your family, what's going to change? Help me understand.
Well, I'm not sure what's going to change. It's just trying to get the information across to her and help her get the information.
Okay, well, let me also address this. Don, don't you think that if she's got questions or concerns, or you may have some new ones based on that conversation, wouldn't it make sense that I be on the line so I can answer those questions for both of you, considering I'm the one that actually knows about how this whole thing works?
Well, yeah. Okay.
And isn't it true that normally when we give something time, we tend to forget what questions we were going to ask?
Yeah, that we do.
I want to get you while you're both fresh, while it's nice and fresh in your mind, because I want to make sure any concerns you have, I address them tonight. So can we do it tonight? It's only going to take about 15 minutes.
Yeah, all right. Let's do it tonight.
Okay, pause role play. Again, I'm not letting him off the hook. A lot of people, when they tell you, well, can we talk next week? They're blowing you off, guys. They're blowing you off. Nothing's going to change in a week. Nothing's going to change in a month. So make sure that you don't just take that answer, you question it. And then the last one, how can you guarantee this is going to work for me? So Don, it's going to cost $500. You ready to get started?
Well, the question I have is how are you going to guarantee this is going to work? I don't want to
Oh,
get in a position where it doesn't work again.
that's a great question, Don. I'm so glad you asked that. So here's what I can guarantee you, Don. This company that I work with, they've been in business for the last 15 years. And what I can guarantee you is when you join us and you're going to have access to the back office, if for whatever reason a server goes down, we've got multiple servers to come right back up so you don't miss out on anything. That way you can continue to run your business. If you have any questions about anything, we have a support staff that within 48 hours will address your ticket and respond back to you. And if you are stuck and you need my help, you already know how to get in touch with me, right?
You're right.
So I can guarantee you we're going to do our part. Otherwise, we would not be in business. Here's what I cannot guarantee. Don, are you going to do your part?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that?
If I'm going to do this, I got to do my part, right?
Great. So if you're guaranteeing that you're going to do your part, we're guaranteeing we're going to do our part. How can you fail?
Okay.
Now, pause role play. So here's what a lot of you guys are going to get. Well, I tried other programs in the past and they didn't work for me. I've spent money on this. I spent money on that. I got something for that one. So here we go. Let's go back to role play and I want you to come up with that one. So basically, Don, that's what I can guarantee is that we're going to do our part and you've already guaranteed you're going to do your part. So are we good to go?
Well, yeah, I've spent money on programs like this before and it just didn't pan out. And I'm not sure if I want to try that again.
That's interesting. Tried out before. Do you know if it worked for anybody at all? Anybody?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people I've seen that it was working well for.
Got it. Okay. And our program has worked for thousands upon thousands of people. So we know it's good. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in business, out of business 15 years ago. So Don, help me understand, what is the common denominator? If it's worked for other people and in all the programs that you've purchased, but it did not work for you, what is the common denominator?
Apparently that would be me.
Can I get you to give me a really honest answer? Don, did you give all the effort and did you do everything that all of those programs said to do?
Well, probably not everything they said to do. I did what I thought I could.
Pause role play. This is an uncomfortable one for a lot of people. A lot of you are going to be really uncomfortable going there. But again, you have an obligation to your audience. You really do. Most of the time when people are telling you that they've paid money into several programs and none of them have worked, they are the common denominator. And that's a harsh reality, but sometimes you've got to be the one that's a leader enough to say, you know what? It may just been that you have not committed as much as you should. And now you know that if you're going to work with this person, there's going to be accountability that's going to be necessary so that Don has the best chance of being successful. Because sometimes for a lot of these other programs, there's not enough accountability.
Right.
Once they sell the program, that's the end of that. And they expect you to be an adult enough to do that. And the reality is we're all human beings. We all struggle with sometimes the mindset issues. And I know with Don, I'm going to hold him accountable. I'm going to add that to his program to make sure he has the best chance of success. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. And those are the four most common objections that you're going to hear. There's others as well, but always remind people when you're on the phone with them or on Zoom, why is it that they're even talking to you? It's because they've been dealing with this problem for far too long.
Absolutely.
Good stuff?
Awesome stuff, Coach. I like I said, I don't impress easy, but when I watched this before, you impressed me. And I felt the
can I
need.
address retention real quick?
Sure.
So let me address retention. This is how you stop people from changing their mind and asking for refunds. So I'm going to use this in the role play. And Don, let's say that you're ready to get started. Okay. So that's where we're going to pick up. And I'm going to show you how you finish this to ensure that you don't get those refund requests anymore. And I also would recommend for you guys when you're doing these calls, especially when you know you're closing a sale, record it. Record it. Ask permission first. Do not record anything under any circumstance without getting the permission of the person on the other line, or you will find yourself in legal problems.
Right.
Okay, so here we go. So Don, have I answered all of your questions? Are you now a lot more comfortable and ready to proceed?
Yeah, let's get started.
Great. What credit card would you like to use?
This Visa.
Okay, perfect. Let me go ahead and get everything on here. All right, so I'm going to send you the link real quick, and I'm going to wait until you actually have already inputted it and you've hit the submit so that I see the transaction come back in my on my screen, and then I can confirm that you're good to go. So here you go. Oh, looks like it just confirmed. I see that you are good to go. First and foremost, I want to congratulate you, Don, on making a wise decision. Pause role play, never say thank you. Never say thank you. Always say congratulations on making a wise decision. Why? Because they are. This is something that's going to change their lives. Back to role play. Now, before we finish up, Don, and we've got your onboarding already scheduled for tomorrow, so all of that stuff is going to be taken care of. I want to ask you a very, very important question. Are you a man of honor?
Yes,
Do you honor your word?
as best I can.
Great. Don, whenever we get off this line, you're not going to call, text, or email me saying that you've changed your mind and you've had buyer's remorse, are you?
No,
I'm sorry, what was that?
no, I won't be.
Great. Congratulations again, Don, and I look forward to talking with you on your onboarding call tomorrow. Have a great evening. Now, if he did have buyer's remorse, I've got a recording. I've got him saying twice that he would not call, text, or email me. So now it's literally a lot more difficult for that person to want to change their mind. And it's literally a subconscious programming that you're doing. You're making sure that people are not being let off the hook anymore. You are a professional, and I want to make sure that you continue to carry yourself as such. And that's what I wanted to cover on retention.
I appreciate that. Real quick, if you don't mind, Coach, I'm going to give it a minute or two if anybody's got a quick question they want to type in. And Cheyenne, it's going to be up on the wall so you can watch it again. It'll be on there available for you guys. So if you missed anything, don't feel bad. If you have a quick question, you want to type it in real quick. If Coach can't see it, I'll read it to him before we wrap up here. And while you're typing in, just let me thank Coach Ivan for taking his time to share not only his time, but his knowledge. This is very similar to what I went through a very long time ago. And then when I went into some other industries and then completely out of it and coming back, you would not believe how great a refresher this is. And we'll be talking about a little bit more in depth stuff going on between you and me as well. But I want to thank you for your willingness to help other people who are not currently your clients. Some of them may choose not to ever be a client, and yet you're still stepping out and helping people. And folks, these things that he just covered are, if you don't get how much value they are, try them a few times and see how it changes your whole world in this business. It's that important.
I closed a $75,000 deal with these 5 questions.
Yeah, I used to do big deals like that. Now I do big deals, but not quite that big because I like high dollar commissions and I like high dollar products. Just a quick note, if you're watching this, I will have this posted. Just a little bit of an advertisement. I help people as well get into business and do it in a way that creates large money up front, but by default creates passive and residual incomes as well. And so it gives you the best of both worlds. I'm not a fan of the get in, it's free, or it's $5. I'm looking for real people who are looking to build real businesses, and I'll have some information if you're interested in that. Not here to push it right now, but just so you know. I will also have Coach Ivan's information taglined underneath here as well, so that you can reach out to him directly if you would like to follow up with him on some coaching, accountability, and the other things. I mean, you'd be crazy not to have at least a conversation with him and see if he might be able to assist you in growing to where you want to be. I hope I'm going to say this right. Tashwana is asking, hi, I'm in sales and I need to start cold calling. What is the best way to get people to call you once you've given your number?
The best way is make sure that you are addressing at least one, if not all three of their biggest pain points. You cannot effectively sell any product or service if you do not know the pain that it removes. People are 10 times as motivated to move away from pain than they are to move towards pleasure. So whenever you're doing cold calling, if you can, here's what I heard, and this is 100% true because I've seen it in action. If you can articulate the pain that the person on the other line is feeling better than they can, subconsciously, they already assume you have the solution.
Say that one more time, Coach.
If you can articulate the pain better than the person on the other side of the phone, they automatically assume you have the solution. Become a master at problem solving. It is what's made people billionaires in this world. Do not shy away from problems. The more problems you find and get.
Oh, you froze up on us, Coach. There we go.
Sorry about that. Yeah, the more problems and the bigger the problems that you help solve, the more money you're going to make. Here's the case in point. Amazon. When I ask this question, I get a lot of answers, but the reality is, I'll tell you what the reality is here in a second. What is the #1 problem that Amazon solved that made them the largest and most successful company in the world today? It's a very simple one. They basically help lazy people buy without having to get out of their couch.
Yep.
That's really it. That's the problem they solve. Think about this. When you needed to go to 4 or 5 different stores, you need to go to the hardware store, the grocery store, the clothing store, and then maybe, for those of you that are farmers, you need to go to the farm store. Okay, what do you have to do? You got to get up out of your couch. You got to get dressed. Hopefully you want to dress properly when you're out there. You got to get in your car. You got to drive through traffic. And then you've got to go to 4 different places, deal with all of these knuckleheads that are in line and bumping you when you're, well, with Amazon, that was done away with. You can now go to all 4 of those stores under one roof and never leave your house and get it within 2 business days.
I'd say that's some major problem solving. I had somebody ask or make a statement about this being on YouTube, and I do put most of these on YouTube, but I need to ask your permission if I can do that with our video tonight, Coach. Or,
absolutely.
Okay, then folks, I will have that on my YouTube channel. You can write this down, and I'll post it underneath. It's at www.directorof.fun. Again, www.directorof.fun. And I'll put that on the back as well. So, Coach, thank you. I think we probably covered enough time for everybody to get going. Again, this will be on here, so watch the replay. If you're like me, you'll watch it more than once. It will be on my YouTube channel, so again, that will be posted underneath, and also on the YouTube section, I will have the contact information for Coach Ivan directly. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Coach, for being here. I appreciate your time and your service to, to mankind, because you're out helping changing lives, like the rest of us are. Some of us need to develop the skills to do it more efficiently and on a long-term basis, and I think you're an asset in that area.
Thank you so much, Don. I consider it an honor to be invited, and I consider you now a friend that absolutely loves and are very passionate about what it is that you do. So guys, do not let this man's knowledge just fall by the wayside. Utilize them. Your time is your most valuable asset. It's not your money. It's your time.
Yeah. And once you realize that, everything changes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We're going to let you guys go. Thank you for joining us. Director
Good night,
of Fun
everyone.
Signing off. And the Director of Fun. I got to get out of here, guys. Y'all have a good one.